It's the job that went viral.
Taylor Swift, if you were planning to send a resume to newspaper giant Gannett.
And I had one person at the top of my mind who I thought would be perfect for it. And you actually know him.
Are you ready for it?
Just think, Emma, 2 more years. 2 more years, and it should all be done.
I also thought he was going to say one more day, until Taylor Swift drops her album.
This all comes back to Taylor Swift.
It's me. Hi.
The one and only Taylor Swift reporter used to work right here with us at 12 News. Bryan West, everyone, on Momcast. How does it feel to be back here in the studio where you and I worked together for 5+ years?
It's so surreal, but it's really exciting and fun to be back here. I got to see Bram. I always refer to him as my news dad because when I got my start in 2010, I was an intern for Bram. And then seeing Ivan, Vic, like the whole gang, it feels like home.
It does feel like home. And even having you back in here, it's making me feel a little bit sad, but so proud of where you've been and where you are now. Take us back, though, a couple years ago, because last people saw you was 2018. And now you are the one and only Taylor Swift reporter. What has happened within that time?
So it's something that I never could have imagined in my wildest dreams. And you know you've been there with me every step of the way. But I would say 5 years ago, the biggest turning point in my life was getting sober. Yeah. And it's something that's been really important to me. And I was even telling you that I don't think I could have done this job 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And that's because I learned so many important life lessons that have really helped me. So the past 5 years, I've been working with a nonprofit that, the Barbell Saves Project, and it's a CrossFit for sober people. And I found CrossFit. I now have a jawline, allegedly.
Look at this guy.
Which is so nice. But I just have met so many incredible people in sobriety, and that's really helped me the past month. There's 3 lessons I go back to every day, and that's take things one day at a time. Other people's opinion of you is none of your business, and this too shall pass. And I think about that where if things might be going negative, that's going to pass, but also so is the positive. So just enjoy the moment and take it in.
When this job was listed, it went everywhere. I was one of probably 100 or so people who sent the job listing to you. And I remember when I sent it to you, the Taylor Swift reporter job. I remember when I sent it to you and you said, Emma, I've already applied. Tell me about when you finally took that step to be like, you know what? I can actually do this.
One of the first people to send it to me was Bram.
Oh, Bram beat me.
He was the first one who beat you.
Dang
but
it.
I was at CrossFit doing a workout, and I was like, Bram texted me. It happens every once in a while, but he has something to say. And I looked at my phone, and I went back to finish my workout, and I was thinking there's a video application component. I had a 30-mile-minute drive back to Tempe where I was living at the time, and I was thinking, what am I going to put in this video? I want to start it with 13 reasons why you should hire me. Hi, my name is Bryan West, and here are 13 reasons why you should hire me. So as soon as I got to my apartment, I put together the video and I sent it off. I think I submitted it around 11 at night or midnight, the night that it came out. And the next morning, I got the email that said, hey, Bryan, you've made the next round.
The next morning you got it? Because you were one of the first people to apply, right?
I was, and I later found out that my application video almost served as kind of a benchmark for some of the other applicants.
Yeah, good luck everyone else.
No, but I think so much of 12 and just being an MMJ, like shooting my own videos, creating my own graphics and animations, that it really helped me be a lot more efficient being a multimedia journalist here.
Well, seeing how you have taken this position, and honestly, I want everyone to know and realize, like, you do everything. Whenever I repost what you're doing, you make the graphics. You are the one flying the drone and taking that video. You're editing everything. You're writing everything. All skills that you honed here at 12 News, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. You were the hardest worker here. You're so dedicated to what you do.
Thank you. That means so much to hear that, especially because you've been one of my closest friends. But I really do feel like this position is so many crossroads that have happened. Yeah. The amalgamation of them just coming together, the intersection point where, again, I don't think I could have done this a couple years. But you're right. The average day in the life is I wake up and it's the day after the tour and I'm thinking Taylor has a break for 2 months. But she announces that her movie's coming to streaming services. So I file that report really fast. And then I go and I have a couple interviews, a couple meetings. I'm doing social media. I flew to Chicago where I interviewed the family who set up a Taylor Swift Christmas house. In the Ubers on the way to and from the airport, I'm filing more stories using my phone as a hotspot. One of the craziest stories, I was coming back from North Carolina and I was driving and Taylor had to postpone her show.
Yes.
And I pulled off, I was about 90 miles outside of Nashville where I now live.
Yeah.
And I'm just at a random Shell gas station, just filing my report. But I also couldn't do this without my amazing team. Like I have 2 editors that I consistently work with. From USA Today, there's Laura, and then from the Tennessean, there's Liz, and they are phenomenal. It has been such a steep learning curve of learning the newspaper side of things or the online print side of things, because it is different than broadcast.
Yeah.
And they've helped challenge me, encourage me, and just help push me into this new job.
When we were going over all of the ins and outs of getting this job, you kept getting to the next round, to the next round, to the next round. There were so many times that you and I were on the phone and you were doubting yourself because it has been a tough past 5 years. And this is what I think is so incredible about your story, is that sometimes when things happen in our lives that are not what we wanted, we expect, okay, well, if I make this change, then I'll get what I want, or I'll get myself to the next thing. And we want that immediate satisfaction of like, if I make this one change, then I'm gonna get something out of it. It took you 5 years to land this dream job, 5 years. And all those 5 years, you were so consistent in sobriety, in working out, in working still at jobs that maybe weren't exactly what you wanted, in honing your skills, and it set you up for this massive break. Tell me about the work that you had to do every single day, showing up for yourself.
So during those 5 years, I would constantly go to the barbell saves. I would work with people in sobriety. I would work out. And then I had an amazing job where I did travel the nation. But that's what set the seeds and the foundation to this. When I say I couldn't have done this 5 years ago, what I mean is it got me to a place of authentically just being myself, like just being grateful for who I am. And so that's why even with this position, top of mind is always sobriety. It's always the first thing that I focus on every day. Am I in a mentally good place? There's some days that are almost chaotic where you're working 10 or 12 hours because Taylor Swift is a powerful machine. Like she just is constantly going, and keeping up with her has been both a joy and really a lot of work. And so I just will call, my editors and say, hey, I need to go to CrossFit for an hour.
Yeah, please.
Please, I just need the mental break. And then on your way to CrossFit, she's like, hey, I'm announcing a new album. This is happening. But no, I would say that especially just learning the skills here in journalism and then working on just becoming myself has helped so much. I sometimes have friends that will text me and be like, hey, block out the haters, don't listen to what they're saying. And I will think, I didn't know people were hating me right now just because I have blinders on and I'm focusing on just trying to do this job as best as I can. My first month, I did 40 articles for the Tennessean and USA Today. So if you think about a 5-day work, that's about 20 days that I was working. So that was just fun to do double the amount of days. And then in addition was doing the broadcast pieces and then some of the appearances. That's been kind of the most fun and the biggest learning curve is getting a call in the morning saying, hey, Stephanie Rule wants you on your show. Hey, Gayle King and Charles Barkley want you on the very first show to talk about your new role. And I'm just still like, really? Yeah. So it's settling into that and also realizing this is just gonna lead on an incredible journey. I remember I called you the day that it was my first day. Everything was kind of going everywhere, all across the internet.
Everywhere. You guys, when he got this job, it went mega viral. I had people that I hadn't even talked to in years reaching out to me like, Bryan West? It was just the biggest, craziest thing. And I think what's so wild is that it's just, everyone knows that you have loved Taylor Swift since, where do you even date that back to? When did you first, her first album?
High school.
High school.
I graduated high school in 2006 and Tim McGraw was her first hit. And I have always loved country music. But I would say what solidified me being impressed with her was her performance at the 2007 Academy of Country Music Awards. She did Shoulda Said No, and she was in a black hoodie and jeans, and she put her arms out, and her dancers pulled it apart, and it was like Velcro, and she was in a dress. And then she goes underneath the cascading waterfalls that say no. And I just remember, who is this performer? Somebody to watch. But what I would say has helped me for this role is I am a Taylor fan, but I'm a journalist first. I went to
Exactly.
Northwestern, I have the awards, I was here in this amazing place for 7, 8 years, that now I can take something that I'm passionate about and apply something that I've worked my whole life towards and merge them together.
And we've talked about this, but I truly don't think that there's anyone better for this job, because you have studied her albums, her music, her lyrics, the movements that she makes on stage, her nail polish, before you were hired to do this as a job. Times when you and I would be on the phone and I'd be like, oh, I have to listen to her, the way she moved her hand at the Glendale, whatever. And it made so much sense. But you're the biggest Taylor Swift expert that I've ever met in my life. And it just seems so fantastic that USA Today recognized that, they celebrate it, and they trust you to bring fans exactly what they need, these Easter eggs, these little intricacies about her lyrics or what she's doing, what she's wearing that actually means something. How has that been? I think it's a little exhausting, Bryan. I mean, really.
I wonder just with her and her team, if she has an entire Easter egg team behind the scenes that are
You
working
should be
through
part of it.
all of that. You wore this outfit, you wore these earrings, you had this, we should add this to the music video. So I always wonder about kind of the planning that goes into this.
Yeah.
But it makes it fun for a lot of the fans. And this job has allowed me to meet the top fans, the top influencers who have even more of a fine tune.
Yes.
I'll think that I've seen something and I will text somebody. I have a friend, Lauren, she's out of LA, that she is an Easter egg expert decoder. And I'll say, hey, with the Time magazine, do you think she wore this because of this? Or do you think she was wearing the guitar that's black because of this? And we just go back and forth, but it makes it kind of fun to watch everything. And it's brilliant from her perspective because she's a marketing PR mastermind. Yeah. She knows that her millions of fans will watch every interview, will read every article, and they will fine tune, explore everything she's saying. What was that quote? What was she wearing?
I have to know the feeling though. Can you even describe it when they said, it's yours, like this is your job? Because I know the buildup, and it was like every day you and I calling each other, and we would go over the text messages that you would get back from the hiring team, and we would read through it and be like, oh wait, I don't know if that means that it's a negative thing or if you're really moving through. So tell me, I got to hear about it.
So I found out about this when I was at Formula One racing in Austin, Texas.
That's right.
So this year I made it a goal to become a marshal, which basically means you are down on the track.
It's so random, it's unbelievable. This is the other thing about Bryan West though. When you like something or when you go for it. And I think that also is another thing that's so inspiring. You started getting into F1, and so you just thought, oh, well, I want to volunteer and be part of that team. So then you did every single step you needed to do, and then you're on the track.
So you're on the track. I was on turn 2, and it was the race practice day on Friday, and it was in between 2 of the major races. And I get the call, and it's been 10 days, I haven't heard anything. And I feel bad because you know when somebody's building something up?
Yes.
So it starts, hey, Bryan, a lot of people applied for this position.
Here we go.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got it. But now I can't react because I'm on the track and it's super loud. And he goes, you got the position. And I said, thank you so much. Can I call you back? It's kind of loud out here. So it's kind of funny, something we laugh about now. But at the time, I was almost freaking out, being like, did I lose it? Because I couldn't talk in that moment.
No, and you couldn't react the way that I'm sure that they really wanted you to react because thousands of people applied for this job and you get it.
When you were saying, though, you kind of just wake up and go for something, that was the same with the drone pilot. I woke up one day, it reminds me of Elle Woods, when he goes, I think she just woke up one day and wanted to become a law student or a lawyer. And that was me one day with the drone pilot. I was like, I want to go get my license and take a class, and I did it in 5 days.
But it's also you here at 12 News, too, because you started here as an intern, and then
I got hired as a planning producer straight out of college.
Which means that you're not on air, you're planning whatever content might be coming on the morning show or whatever it is, and then you just kept doing more. And it's so incredible because sometimes we do have to start at the bottom. We do. Like I had to start at the bottom here at 12 News too.
And that's what allowed me to be inspired and encouraged is when you were hired, I think you were hired to work with the satellite department on the weekends, and you were a producer, and then you started being an anchor, and you just showed the way that you can be behind the scenes but work to be on camera.
It's easy to get frustrated when you don't have the exact thing that your exact dream right off the bat. It is. And especially now when we can get everything that we want right off the bat. We can get food, we can get clothes, whatever it is, we can order it and it can be right to our door. But you have proven over and over that if you do the work and you're consistent and disciplined and you're believing in yourself, that you can ultimately get what you want. And this job, I don't know if there's anything more that you could want. I mean, this is peak Bryan West.
Well, family.
Family, true.
That's next, but
True.
I would say part of that is the reason why so many people, though, are inspired by Taylor Swift as an artist, is she has shown all of her vulnerabilities. She's held up a mirror to every time she's stumbled or been pushed down. A huge part of her audience is young females that look up to her for breaking the glass ceiling. She stands for womanhood. She stands for feminism. She's a beacon. I really like her song, The Man, where she says, I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. And because she is so vulnerable with other people and shows them, hey, I have reached a rock bottom and been canceled, and now look at my trajectory. Like, I would say Taylor Swift has always been a star, but especially in the past year, we have seen her just enter this whole new universe.
She's Times Person of the Year. I mean, the people that she went up against is, world leaders. But to get that title, you of course think well-deserved.
She just has such a huge impact on so many sectors. So if we look at society, even across the globe, we can go economically. Every single stop that she does on the Eras Tour is an economic boom for that city. You have mayors renaming their cities. Here in Glendale, Arizona, they were like Swift City. Yeah. So for the economy, she's been instrumental. For the movie industry, during SAG-AFTRA, during the strike, she was one of the only people ever to do what those production companies couldn't. She struck a deal, was able to market, and she produced a blockbuster that shattered the record for AMC. So she did that by herself, bet on herself, funded herself, and then it turned into this huge hit. She re-records all of her music, which she said in the Time Person of the Year article. I kept telling Kelly Clarkson, who gave her the idea, and my family, this is like going to school and your book report gets blown away. Who wants to redo their book report? But it's been so massively successful for her to do the re-records. It allows fans who have been fans forever to reconnect. She has a generational gap that she connects between moms and daughters, between dads and their kids. Like, she just has such a massive impact. And probably the most fun and surprising impact she's had in the past year has been the NFL. So even just showing up to the games and supporting her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, she has allowed an already very popular sport to become even more popular. And I love that she said in the article, turns out football is awesome, which, to be honest, I would have to go cover like a lot of the Glendale and Cardinal stuff. And I'd be like, I remember one time, one of the photographers, Chris Latella, he set up a whole bunch of I think it was Pepsi soda cans and said, okay, here's the defensive positions, here's the offenses. And I was like, okay, and asking him a lot of questions. I'm the first to say I'm not a football fan, right. But now it's been really fun to watch that and to watch the games and be like, oh, this is interesting. I went to my first Monday Night Football when it was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. And that's been what's been so cool about this. I moved from Phoenix, so I don't have a winter jacket. No. So I have a North Face that's kind of like a jogger jacket, and I show up and it's 44 degrees and it's sleet rain, and then the wind comes in and I am like shivering and I can't even help it. And this guy next to me who has on 3 layers, he's a native of Kansas, he turns and goes, I'm gonna give you my jacket because I'm not gonna let you freeze. And that's been really nice. It's a lot of the stories that I've had the past couple weeks.
You have been all over the country since getting this job. Again, it's only been a couple of weeks. You've been to New York where you did some press. You've been to Chicago. You've been to where? Where else?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
To do the soap story.
Yes. You're coming up with all of these stories. It's unbelievable how big of a job this really is. Because people are like, do you really need to hire a Taylor Swift reporter? Yeah, you do. You have been non-stop. This woman is everywhere right now.
Everywhere. Even when she stopped her tour, 66 cities, 3 international, then the next day goes, for my birthday, I'm going to put my movie for rent on streaming services. She's then Spotify globally most streamed artist, then Apple Music's Artist of the Year, and then Time Person of the Year. She just keeps going. What's interesting is a year ago from this weekend, Searchlight Pictures said she was going to direct her own feature film that she wrote. And everyone's kind of forgotten about it because there's been so much news, but she still has that going on for her. She still has to re-release Reputation and her debut eponymous album. And so fans are excited for that. And then we don't even know if she's working on other music. And we think the tour is ending the end of next year.
Right.
But she could go into 2025. We just don't know. She really is a mastermind with all these projects that she's working on.
But this blew my mind too. 66 shows already, but that's not even halfway done with her tour.
She has 86 more shows. So she picks it back in February in Tokyo and Australia. I am really excited. I know for sure I have international travel, but definitely Paris. I've never been to France, so very excited for that.
When you look at her show too, I mean, this is not a small feat. It's the longest, what,
3.5 hours pretty much.
3.5, 40 something songs?
45 songs.
I love how I
On
can just
average.
go to you and you know everything just right off.
On average, because sometimes with like the Haim sisters, she did No Body,
Yes.
No Crime. So about 45 songs. And then she just keeps it fresh. With her re-releases, with her music videos, she does something new to kind of keep it exciting because fans tune in, me included. We will watch all of her concerts from TikTok Live that are being streamed.
Bryan.
And that's just this network. Like you can watch this 3.5 show over and over and over again. And what's funny is when I moved to Nashville, I stay with one of my really good friends, Tyler, and he has a guest bedroom and
Here
a
we
walk-in closet.
Yeah.
It's a walk-in closet and it has a desk with a nice window. It's like a mini room.
Yes.
But anyway, I didn't give that context when I was on King Charles, and Gail goes, "Are you gonna watch this concert in person?" I said, "Sure, hope so, because right now I'm watching it in my friend's closet."
He was on the Gayle King and Charles Barkley show, and he said that, and he feels so weird about it because it does sound a little weird.
It sounds like I'm huddled under all these like sweatshirts, like next to a hamper, being like writing my stories. But no.
Which we have been there writing stories before, honestly, because you get the best sound in the closet.
Oh, that is true, because
really
it
is.
absorbs everything.
I know. When you think about what the next year is going to be like, I know you're going to be traveling and all, but what are some things that you really want to hold on to? Because I just feel like your life has completely changed. Completely. I mean, you had to move over to Nashville within a week. You are working non-stop, and this woman is not stopping anytime soon. It sounds exhausting, but what are some pillars that you have built up over the last couple of years that you want to really hold true to?
So my two favorite songs with Taylor have never changed, and that was a 10-minute version of All Too Well and Long Live. I've always loved Long Live, which, by the way, don't tell the internet your least favorite songs. It doesn't go well, which I would like to, can we clear that up for a second?
Please.
So she has 250 plus songs. I would just say the 3 songs that you can go look them up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make it the top 200
Great.
that I might listen to,
That's
but
fine.
the Long Live song, I love her line, I said, remember this moment. And that's so much of what I said with like sobriety, this too shall pass, is there are constantly moments like just enjoy, embrace this moment. And that's what I'm really looking forward to this next year. There are a couple things like traveling that are gonna be awesome that I can't wait for, but to be honest, I'm just trying to get through every day almost at this point, and just excited to go on this journey. I said when I started, it's like being on a roller coaster on a foggy day. So when the news was announced, I was going down the track, and I don't know where this is leading to, but I'm holding on and enjoying the ride.
What's the thing that surprised you the most since getting this job? I mean, like, it's weird. Like, it really is a dream job. Now you have it. What has been like, oh, maybe the workload? Is that what's been? Or maybe all the interest? Because, I mean, you've been featured LA Times, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. I mean, everyone has covered Bryan West getting this job.
And I think that shows, too, the need for the position almost.
Without
Just how
a doubt.
it went viral and how everyone was talking about it. When I went to the Kansas City Chiefs game, I went with a Tennessean sports writer.
Yeah.
And he had said, like, hey, I have family members who are a fan of Taylor, but every time I go to the locker room, we don't talk about that with other journalists. And that's all they were talking about was this position when it went viral. And he goes, see, this is why this position is so massive and her impact. I like that in the Times article, he said that. He said, think of how many times at dinner you might have talked about her with your family. Think about a song you might have heard. Her impact, she's everywhere. And so I would say the most surprising thing, though, about this would truly be, maybe not most surprising, but the most meaningful is just meeting everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked going to the Christmas house that they decorated in Taylor. They printed banners, and just having that family welcome me in and give me friendship bracelets. Oh, that was crazy. I went to Dancing with the Stars.
Yes,
And I had never been
forgot about
given,
that.
ironically, a friendship bracelet. I had made them before with one of my friends, but I had never been given one. And I was telling Allison Hannigan that from How I Met Your Mother,
Yes.
and she has wrists like this much friendship bracelets, and she goes, here, and she just gave me about 20 friendship bracelets and goes, I'll be your first. So it's just meeting people and just how much, hearing all the stories of all these people that have never met her, maybe they met her for a fleeting moment, but they feel like they know her. She's the best friend, she's a sister, and so that's what's been the most maybe exciting and nice part of this job.
You have met Taylor Swift. In fact, the infamous picture, has been the background of
And
my
it was because of you.
screen
That's right, upstairs.
for forever. Because it's the happiest I think I've ever seen you in your life. You have met your hero, the person that you love more than anyone, anything.
I joked when we took that picture that our ears touched, and I thought for a moment I was straight.
Yeah. But it really was. It happened because of a video
You.
compilation. Tell me about it.
So when I was a reporter, Emma always used to make fun of me.
Swifties are losing their minds this morning. Bryan West about cried. Taylor Swift dropped her new single last night.
There was one clip that you said, I'm surprised Bryan didn't call into sick to work today because Taylor released Reputation. So I put those together and sent it to her team. And it took about a month and a half.
Sent it to her team like fan mail. Like you sent it to her team.
Just emailed
Yeah.
her and just said, hey, just wanted you to know that I kind of get prodded and joked by my team for being, you know, an active support of Taylor at the time, especially for Reputation.
Yeah.
And they wrote me back a month and a half later and they said, we want to send you some swag. And I was thinking, well, her t-shirts are like $60, so why not? Let's get a t-shirt or sweatshirt. And they sent me a box that was a VIP box, and it had a message from Taylor when you opened up the lid. And then the morning of, I remember I called you because her publicist reached out and said, Taylor wants to meet you. How soon can you get out here? And I had finished the morning show at 11 a.m.
Oh my God.
I drove out. They were doing construction on the 202.
This was 2000 and...
That was 2018. May 8th, 2018.
Oh, and 8s are your numbers.
8
Yeah,
is
there
my
you go.
number. So I drove out to the stadium and sat there for 5 hours. And then I was also trying to think, all my life I've tried to think, this artist has met so many people, thousands and thousands of people. How can you kind of stand out? So I went to Walgreens, printed out my 12 News headshot, and then Sharpied it from your favorite local news reporter,
you did it.
and then gave it to her. But
I went to Walgreens.
So I went to Walgreens, and then I sat there with like my picture for a couple of hours. But it was a really cool moment. And the more people that I meet, especially influencers that I've met her, they share a similar story, just the impact and how they felt. And it was similar. The team usually reaches out and says, we saw that you have posted X amount of times about Taylor. We want you to come meet her at this tour.
Because it feels so genuine. When you look at Taylor's impact, specifically on the NFL, I never really imagined these two things combining so seamlessly. Because you see her at games and now you feel like everyone's just really into the relationship. What kind of impact has she had on the NFL, do you think?
So when I went to Kansas City, I was asking fans about this because I was thinking, you all are football fans. I know you're here for football.
Right.
And they are football fans first, but they are rooting for Travis and Taylor. I think it's kind of a real life love story playing out in front of everybody. It was neat that she talked about that in the Times article, and she had said they met right after he kind of nicely put her on blast saying, I made a friendship bracelet with my number, and I couldn't give it to her.
Oh my
so
gosh.
she reached out and they started dating and getting to know each other. And then the first time that she publicly supported him next to the mom, it was kind of exciting. I had turned off my phone, and when I turned it back on, I was in Chicago with one of my friends.
Yeah.
I had a lot of text messages being like, Taylor's on the NFL. So it almost seems like it went through the entire community of Taylor Swift fans. Everyone was just kind of excited maybe to see this love story. It's like happy news at a time when there's so much bad news that you can turn it on and just see it unfolding. What I think is neat is they've actively supported each other. So she was at the Chiefs games. He came down to Argentina. She then changed the lyrics to Karma as the guy on the Chiefs, coming straight home to me. And she sang End Game with him in the crowd. Something that I think is really striking. And that was the moment that I saw that I knew was intentional. She is a mastermind, that this was a real relationship. As far as their impact, though, what's interesting is just there have been TikToks. There was a dad that said, thank you, Taylor Swift. Me and my daughters now watch football together.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And her impact is she wore a red coat to the game that she did in Green Bay.
Yeah.
It had 400% plus sales. It was a Stella McCartney jacket, which
the
is
Teddy
one
coat.
of her friends, the Teddy coat. And the Jets game, when she was in the booth with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, the director, it was 22 million people that tuned in. So she's just bringing a lot of new eyes. There's a TikTok influencer that I follow who his dad has always tried to get him to watch football and he never has in his whole life. And he goes, here we are, we're watching Taylor. So it's just able to bridge that gap between families, between generations. It's just it's a feel-good story.
It's a really feel-good story. What do people need to look out for now? Okay, you said that there's another Reputation is what fans are thinking is coming next,
That's
right?
what they think. And again, you can get lost in the Easter eggs, but they think February has a huge part of that, her kicking the tour off again. There's also in the video where she did Karma at the end, she has a coffee cup and it's a clock, like midnights. And she had her blue nail.
This is where you just like keep going.
Again,
please.
this is not confirmed.
I have to hear, I know, but I love it. Keep going.
So she had a blue nail, which is 1989 next to the 8, and that's where she announced 1989, and a black nail next to the 2. So fans think something with February is happening. And then
Bryan
Taylor
West.
Nation at one time said, we can leave the Christmas lights up till February. And the original lyric is, we can leave the Christmas lights up till January. So that's how people get lost though in all these Easter eggs, is it could just be something that they're messing with you or it doesn't mean anything, but it keeps it fun. When Swifties are wrong, they have a term. It's called clowning. And so that's what they say when they think Friday is a big day, she's gonna announce it. And then when they get it wrong, they're like, oh, we're all clowning.
But you guys, here's the thing. He's not talking like this because he's the Taylor Swift reporter. You've always been this way. And when we talk about the Travis Kelce stuff, before you even got this job, you knew they were dating well before. You and I had a very long discussion where you like came down on me because I was like, oh, I don't know if this relationship's for real. You're like, yes, it is. And you went all through everything. It's so natural for you to have this position. And I feel like the inspirational part is that you have somehow been building yourself up to be able to take on this massive job that has a huge impact. I mean, when you look at the stories that you have done, they have been everywhere. Like millions and millions of views.
It's been really exciting. You know, one thing Taylor said that is one of my favorite quotes too, that is kind of like a life mantra. She said, no matter what happens in life, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave behind. That's something every day that I think when I'm taking things one day at a time, or other people's opinion and view is none of your business. I think just be the best version of yourself and show it for yourself. And that's why I'm grateful too for the past 5 years. It's just, how do I just keep shining my light no matter what?
There you have it, everyone. The Bryan West, who once worked in this studio with me tirelessly with the worst hours on the planet, now the one and only Taylor Swift reporter. Congratulations. I am so stinking proud of you. I can't even stand it.